What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to the stream. We've got a crazy day in the markets, most likely. It's looking like we just made all-time highs in the S&P 500 on the news that the Fed said assets are overvalued and that they're going to make money harder to come by. So it's looking like it's going to be a green day for pretty much everything. If you've been looking at the pre-market or after hours of yesterday, you can see pretty much everything is up. It's looking like the markets are going to be green today. It's looking like we're going to have finally a green day on this supposedly bad news from the Fed. If you're talking about assets, it seems like the Fed had a pretty negative meeting for them yesterday, but everything is up on the news. So let's start off taking a look at the chart and welcome everybody. First off, welcome Rocky Mountain Gobblers, Rich M, Zach Taylor, JL Silver. We got the regulars in already. That's awesome. And also, I am a bot and I just love the stock is in here too. So awesome to see that. And Stone Get Money, AMC, nice. So Zach Taylor also just pointed out that Melania Trump launches an NFT blockchain platform. First NFT for auction will be an art piece of her cobalt blue eyes. Interesting. Well, we've got a lot to look at today. A lot of stocks are moving up. Sundial is up. We were just touching 60 cents in the pre-market earlier with Sundial. DWAC is touching 55 bucks. The S&P made new all-time highs, so that's impressive in this pre-market. We just made all-time highs in the S&P. And AMC also broke resistance of 25 bucks. They're now at $26 just about, and will potentially be rising today. So a lot of stuff going on in the markets. We had the Fed meeting yesterday. We're going to do a brief rundown of that real quick. Let me very quickly be right back. I forgot to turn on the fan. I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. I have returned. So we've also got Saucy Fredo. What's up, man? And Hero's in again. All right. And the hedgies are falling, says Stone Get Money. Yeah. So the S&P is doing record highs this pre-market. 474.86, the new record high on the S&P 500. Impressive stuff. AMC getting up to 26. And what says no pants confirmed? I'm definitely wearing pants. And Sundial, I'm excited to see, has rallied quite a bit from yesterday. And if you watched my Sundial video, you saw I bought some more shares around 53 cents. So that's looking like a pretty good buy right about now. And if you guys watched my other video yesterday, you would have seen that I sold some puts, or a put, on DWAC. A very interesting trade that I'm very happy with. So let me show you this. It's on my Robinhood account. I'm going to show you guys the actual trade itself. So look at this. Look at this trade. So for those of you who didn't watch the video, I'll show you guys right here. We got DWAC. And let me just turn off notifications real quick. There we go. So we got DWAC. The $50 put is what I sold on it. And I only sold one, but it's basically giving me a credit of $3,450 just about. And break-even price. For those of you who don't know how options work, basically this is me agreeing to buy DWAC for $50, but someone is paying me $34.50 for the right to sell it to me for $50. So that's essentially me buying DWAC for $15.50 in January of 2023 if DWAC is below $50. If it's not, then I end up getting to keep the $34 per share, which each options contract is worth 100 shares, so it's $3,400 if DWAC is over $50. If it's not, then I lose $1,500. It's a pretty high probability of profit trade, since we wouldn't even need to go up on DWAC. We just need it to stay where it's at. And if it does go down, I break even at $15.50. So if you think DWAC is staying above $15.50 until January 20th of 2023, then this should be a profitable trade. So overall, it's looking pretty good. I might sell some more of those. Why didn't you buy warrants? And, oh, what's up, Kitchener Leslie? I didn't see you there. What's up, man? And why didn't you buy warrants? I didn't buy warrants because, let's take a peek at the warrants. So the warrants, you're paying $16.75 for. And then to execute the warrants, you have to pay another $11.50. So you could essentially get DWAC for $31 or maybe $32.25, something like that. And in this scenario, you get DWAC for that price and you make some money, even if it stays the same at $50. Sure, you do make some money that way. But with the options, DWAC doesn't even have to move, and I've doubled my money, right? It just has to stay at 55. In this situation, if you buy the warrants for 16.75, you're doing good. You're getting a 50% gain, and DWAC doesn't have to move. But if it goes down, you could potentially lose money, right? DWAC, for me to lose money, has to go down below the price of what these warrants are selling for. It has to go down to $15.50 for me to lose money on the trade. So it's a much higher probability of profit than buying the warrants. Obviously, you're lacking some potential upside on it. You might not end up getting all of the potential gains you could if DWAC goes super high. If it goes to, say, $200, I mean, I only profit the same amount. I only get the $3,400 from selling that contract still, right? It doesn't matter how high it goes. For me, it's the same amount of profit, the same max profit at least, regardless. So the warrants, obviously, you can potentially make more money with. But with the Fed raising interest rates, who knows what the market's going to do? Hopefully, things will go well. But I'm fine doubling my money in a year. I don't need to 10x it. I would like to. I think there are some things where you could potentially not get as good of a sale on those options contracts. I think that Sundial, the options contracts make a little bit less sense. The DWAC option contracts were just so expensive that it was worth selling, in my opinion. So if you take a peek at the DWAC options contracts, I mean, look at this. The $50 puts for January of 2023 are 30-something bucks. So they're paying you more than half of what the stock could fall to. I mean, you really can't lose too much money with those. Maybe when it opens today, you could lose a little bit more. I assume they'll be a little bit cheaper since we're moving up with DWAC, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. That was just an interesting trade that I took on DWAC yesterday, and I'll potentially be selling more of those options contracts if we get another dip on DWAC. If they get more expensive, I'd like to sell some more of those. And good morning, Manny C. What's up? Good morning. Interesting sound coming from my door. All right. So we've got about 49 viewers right now and 18 likes. Let's see if we can't bump it up. Maybe to 25 likes. We get another 7 people in here hitting the like button. Good morning, Brazil AA. Good to see you in here early, bright and early. Now, we've got a lot to talk about, and it looks like we've got a decent number of people. So we will start talking about the full recap of the Fed decision. Powell is talking about assets being overvalued. He's talking about quickening the taper. So we're going to talk about this. So first off, Powell says asset valuations are somewhat elevated. So scary stuff. You wouldn't expect stocks to move up on this news, but it looks like the market sometimes does the exact opposite of what you would expect. And Jim Haney says, about time for a haircut, getting a little fuzzy on the sides. Absolutely. It is time for a haircut. Any time now, any day. We're getting close. Anyways, direct quote from Powell. He says, I would say asset valuations are somewhat elevated. So we'll see what this bodes for the market. It looks like as of today, it's boded pretty well. The S&P did hit record highs on this news that he's saying that assets are overvalued. So that's interesting. Stocks hit session highs while he speaks. Sure. Inflation is still a risk, he says, but he also said that the Omicron variant is a risk, but doesn't impact accelerated taper plans. So that's interesting. He's not going to quicken the taper plans because of the Omicron. He says disappointing return to labor force participation could take longer. So maybe it'll take a little bit longer to get people back to work. All right, we'll see. And Powell says doubling the taper speed is the appropriate way to go. So I think they said we actually have a quote right here. Markets are going to be sensitive to it. And we thought this was doubling the speed. We are basically 2 meetings away now from finishing the taper. We thought that was the appropriate way to go. So 2 meetings away from finishing the taper. And he's going to raise interest rates 3 times next year is the expectation, right? He's thinking of 3 interest rate hikes. So the market seems okay with it. We've obviously made new all-time highs on some stocks. And economists are saying that the Fed can regain control of inflation. Now, we also have an interesting chart to show you guys that Zach Taylor sent me. So I will show you guys that in just a minute. Let's just see if there was anything else in this that we needed to talk about. No, I don't think anything too important in this. All right. So Here we go. Here we go. We got another article, and we're going to show that chart that I was talking about showing inflation pretty soon. But like I said, it's 3 rate hikes next year, and they're aggressively dialing back the bond buying twice as fast as expected. The Fed will be buying $60 billion of bonds each month starting in January, half the level in November. So they were doing 120, and $30 billion less than it had been buying in December. All right. And the Fed will be tapering by $15 billion a month in November, double that in December, and that will accelerate the reduction further come in 2022. Sure. Okay, so overall, they're dialing back all those bond purchases. They're getting rid of a lot of the money they're injecting into the economy. Now, here's an interesting chart. And good morning, Shadow333. Here's an interesting chart from... Basically, this is what the Fed was showing at their presentation. We'll zoom in on a little bit. And it's pointed out on the conservativetreehouse.com. It's pointed out in this article that this is what was shown at the presentation. And for some reason, the 2021 data is missing from the chart, right? They didn't decide to include the 2021 data. They decided to leave that out. And it was strange because Powell was talking about the 2021 data during the time that he had this slide up, apparently. And I think, or at least this article thinks, that the reason the data wasn't included was because it would look far too scary to investors if they saw what the actual inflation data was. So for those of you who are curious, basically this is showing inflation, and it's this green line right here, the actual inflation rate. And you can see what we actually are going to end up seeing in 2021 should look something like this graph. So if he did show this, I think that might have caused a little bit of fear in the market, seeing a massive increase in inflation in 2021. People might have been a little bit more fearful. They might not have taken the Fed as seriously because the whole time the Fed has been saying that inflation was transitory, that it was nothing to worry about. And now they're saying it's a big problem after we see massive inflation. So overall, it was a bit of a failure on probably the Fed and Powell's part. It's not looking too good for them, especially with this graph, right? This is an updated graph that someone created to show what the actual inflation rate for 2021 is going to look like. And this is probably the graph that they should have used at the presentation. So overall, it looks like they tried to quell market fears by just hiding some of the data that we had. This was the graph they showed with no 2021 data. And this is the graph that we actually have, right? If you actually include the data that we've caught, this is what the projection looks like. So scary stuff. Scary stuff. In fact, the top of the graph ends at 6, and the projection goes above that. So we're actually above the top of the graph if you look at the projection that we're going to have for 2021. And it's looking pretty optimistic. In fact, the Fed thinks that inflation is now going to drop down to these bars right here. It thinks that we're going to see much lower inflation in 2022 and 2023, 2024, and even longer past that. They think that it's going to fall pretty dramatically. So we'll see if that happens. We'll see if that ends up happening. But we have got some interesting stuff going on. We've got gold moving up a little bit. Gold is up. It recovered a lot of its losses. In fact, if you look back at the 10-day, we recovered pretty much everything that we saw yesterday. We were pretty darn low yesterday to 163, but we are moving up massively as of the late hours of trading, and the pre-market after hours were up pretty big. We'll see if this is a good day for gold. Hopefully it will be. Gold is doing pretty good from the look of it, so we'll see if this rally that we've got over the past couple of hours can continue. And yeah, thank you, Zach, for sharing that graph with me. That was a very interesting one. That was very cool. So silver, let's see, I haven't taken a peek at silver yet, but silver is also on a decent rally. It's doing pretty good. All right, so it looks like the metals are responding kindly to this. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks if the metals really start reacting how I would have thought they would react way back when we were actually seeing all of these high CPI readings that were leading to big inflation. So hopefully we'll see a lot more hedging against inflation. We'll see people investing in stuff that will be inflation resistant. We'll see if that actually happens. It's looking like Bitcoin is doing pretty well. We'll take a peek at cryptos in a minute, but we've got a couple of reports coming out this morning. We also have the initial jobless claims numbers, which I'll pull up right here. We have jobless claims that just came out at 8:30. We got pretty darn close to the expectation, right? We were forecast to have 200,000 new jobless claims. We ended up having 206,000, so barely missing that, right? We want fewer jobless claims, so ideally we would have had less than the forecast, but it was pretty darn close. We were pretty spot on with it. You can't get the numbers exactly, right? So we did pretty good for the forecast. Not that bad. And we've also got building permits. I'm not sure if those are really that important. We can take a peek at building permits. All right, so building permits measures the change in the number of new building permits issued by the government. So they're a key indicator of demand in the housing market. So we were forecast to get 1.66 million new building permits, and we actually got 1.72. So it looks like we have a lot more people building houses. That's certainly a good thing. That's one of my favorite things to see. You know, the more houses, the better, I think. I think if we could build a billion new houses in the U.S., then fine. Everybody can have 3 houses. That sounds awesome. Let's build them really nice, too. That's what I think about houses. I say the more the merrier. No reason not to build a ton. I don't care if housing prices go down. That's ideal. If everybody could live in a mansion, that's the end goal. So I say let's build more houses. So it's good to see us beating expectations on that. Now, we will take a peek at cryptos real quick, just because it's interesting to see. Cryptos are moving up, potentially as people are expecting worse inflation. Bitcoin is up 2% to 48,500 just about. So we're getting close to maybe getting back to 50,000. We'll see if we can do it. Ethereum up 6% to 4,000. I think that people are starting to take Ethereum a little bit more seriously. I think people are liking Ethereum more and more as time goes on. They're realizing that there's a lot of utility to it. And potentially, it will be replacing Bitcoin as number one in the future, right? Bitcoin, it's a store of value. I think that's the argument that a lot of people make for it. They say it's a great thing to just buy and hold as an inflation hedge or as something that's basically just digital gold. A lot of people say that about Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, there's not too much to do with it. Ethereum is used in a bunch of the blockchain smart contracts and that kind of stuff. I'm not too well versed on it, but I know it has a lot more uses than Bitcoin. You know, whenever people are doing stuff with crypto, it's typically Ethereum that they're using as a base for their project. So Ethereum could definitely overtake Bitcoin over the long term. It's already at half the market cap of it. It doesn't have to go up too much more. It just has to double to overtake Bitcoin, or potentially less if Bitcoin starts to fall, if people start moving into Ethereum. It's very possible that Bitcoin was one of the initial big companies. You know, if you think about stocks, it may have been one of the initial railroad companies or something that ended up doing really well, and then eventually the times caught up with them and they stopped being as successful. Think of like General Electric or something like that, or a Cisco. You know, companies that used to be really big, and then they just got overtaken by the new kid on the block, Ethereum, like a Facebook or a Google or a Microsoft, just the better tech. That could be what's going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Bitcoin was the first. It's understandable that it wasn't as well developed as Ethereum. Ethereum definitely has a big team working on it, so we'll see what happens. But Ethereum is up 6.25%. A lot of the cryptos are up, actually. In fact, pretty much every crypto is up on this news. So Binance is up 3.5%, Solana up 14%, Cardano up 6%, Ripple up 3%, Polkadot up 6%, Terra Luna up 16%, Dogecoin even up 1%, and Shiba Inu also up 1%. So some of the meme coins aren't doing too much. They're not actually moving up all that much, but better than nothing, right? Better to see them moving up than down. People are probably happier having more money in their accounts than less. So we'll see what all of this inflation ends up doing for cryptos. And we also have what is it? We just actually got the industrial production numbers. They just came out 5 minutes ago. So we'll take a peek at these. The industrial production measures the change in total inflation-adjusted value of output produced by manufacturers, miners, and utilities. So that's good. We want, ideally, a higher number on this, right? We want probably to see more value being produced by manufacturers, mines, and utilities, right? That's better for society. We've got more stuff that way. And so these are the year-over-year numbers. The previous reading that we had in November was 5.29%, and now we've got a 5.27% increase in industrial production year over year. So overall, not too bad. Not too bad. Not too well versed on exactly what this means. It looks like we fell dramatically during COVID, and since then have recovered quite nicely. So that's a big inversion that we actually saw around March. Interesting. All right, so industrial production's looking decent. It's kind of in line with what we've seen the past couple of months. And let's see. Of course, on stock twits. And silver, let's see. Silver just said, no, ZT. No, I didn't. Rob has my info. Looking forward to offline channel. Did you send me an email, Silver? I forget. I looked, actually. Or I don't think I saw an email from you. Do I have your info? I'm not sure I do, Silver. Send me an email, and I'll show you. I'll show you where it is. But if you guys are interested, all you've got to do is go to the About section of my channel right here. And then for business inquiries, you click View Email Address, and you can see the email address, and you can contact me there, Silver. If you just, or Instagram DM. I don't know if I have you on Instagram. Do I have you there? Just send me an email and I'll forward it to Zach here. Just doesn't have to have any text or anything in it. Just say I'm Silver, something like that. Because I don't know if I have you on Instagram. So there you go. Looks like maybe stocks are starting to take a little bit of a dip right before the market open. AMC seems to be moving down just a touch, getting a little closer to 25. So does Sundial. It's moving down closer to 56 cents per share. We'll see if that continues once the market actually opens, right? I mean, you would have expected on the news that we got from the Fed for there to be not great stock action coming from that. You wouldn't have expected to see stocks moving up as much as they did. I was surprised to see it. Very surprised to see that we made new highs on the S&P. I would have thought that this would be bad news. And so potentially we could see some negative pressure on the S&P, right? This could be the pump before the dump. It's overall looking pretty good, though. We did make new highs, so maybe not. The S&P has been doing pretty good over the long term, and maybe it's moving up because investors are less worried that the Fed is ignoring inflation, right? They think that the Fed will do what's right for the economy. Maybe that's what's going on. We'll see if that ends up playing out today. If more people are getting into stocks than are getting out. We'll see. We'll see. So overall, it's looking like we'll probably see a green day. I mean, it would be pretty tough to erase these gains that we've gotten in the after hours and pre-market for a lot of these stocks. We'll see if we can do it. It's honestly, for some of them, it's not going to be too tough. But for the S&P, we're a bit higher, right? We'd have to get down to around 470 to erase the gains on the S&P. So we'll see if we can do it. We're not that far. Hopefully we won't. I would honestly at this point prefer to see stocks moving up, to see a nice Christmas rally. That would be very comforting, I think. You don't want to be worried about your portfolio over the holidays. That would be not an ideal situation. I mean, you really shouldn't think too much about your portfolio when the markets are closed. You know, when it's a holiday, you should take some time off, I think. And regardless of what's going on, you should just enjoy yourself during times you're with your family and all that. So don't let it get to you, even if the markets do start tanking before the holidays. Or if whatever stocks you're in start doing kind of poorly, don't worry about it. And really, there's never a time that you should worry about it. You shouldn't ever be actively worried. You might be slightly concerned, right? You might think that you need to do something about it, and that's fine. You can definitely come up with a strategy to deal with losses, but worry isn't going to help anyone. So don't get too fearful if you see something going down in the markets. So it's looking like, I just took a peek at Ape Wisdom, and it's looking like, for some reason, Goldman Sachs is the second top trending stock on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. Goldman Sachs got a ton of mentions and upvotes. Honestly, it just got a ton of mentions. Not very many upvotes. In fact, very few upvotes for how many mentions it got. Potentially, someone is just pumping it on Reddit, trying to pump it up. because there are no upvotes for it. So I'm going to take a peek at Goldman Sachs and just see real quick what's going on with it. So it looks like it had a little bit of a dip yesterday and then started moving up. Sure, all right. Nothing crazy going on, and if there's any news for it, it's not looking like there's anything crazy going on with Goldman Sachs, so it might just be some kind of bot trying to push Goldman Sachs on people on Reddit, and nobody's taking to it. That's interesting to see, that nobody's really taking this. You can see all the other top stocks, right? The other top 5 all have, or at least the top 4, or the 6 actually, have very high upvote counts, even though some of them have fewer mentions. But Goldman Sachs has about 1 upvote per post. It's almost like the bots just posted 335 messages about them and then upvoted their own things once each. And then maybe 6 other people came in and gave them an upvote. It's strange to see, but Tesla's also doing pretty good on Ape Wisdom. We'll take a peek at Tesla. We'll see what's going on with Tesla. Over the long term, I'm not too worried about Tesla, but it has been downtrending over these past couple of days. It rebounded a little bit. It rebounded alongside the market, so we'll see if that can maintain itself. We're getting pretty close to 1,000 again. Maybe we can get up above that. In fact, we were touching 1,000 this pre-market. It wouldn't be out of the question to see us go up there in the early morning. We could definitely see over the next couple of minutes as the market opens, us moving up past 1,000. That could definitely happen. So we'll see what we can get on Tesla. I'm not too worried about it over the long term. I'm probably not going to be buying Tesla at these prices. I'll wait for a dip. You know, we only recently got up here, and I think there could be some more pain with Tesla, right? We've seen it before. When they go to these super high prices, they trend down for quite a bit, it seems, right? When we got to 900 last time, we got to 900, and then we went down to 550. So, yeah, I think there's probably some more downside, right? I think we could move down a little bit on Tesla, and honestly, Tesla's more of a long-term hold for me. I'm not too worried about trying to get a quick entrance on it and get out for a small profit as it moves up. I'd rather just buy and hold Tesla at cheap prices. So whenever Tesla's tanking, whenever the market's doing battle, buy a little bit of Tesla and just hold it because Elon's a good guy. I think Elon's going to take Tesla to a good place. And of course, we'll check Elon's Twitter just in case he said something. So Elon, all right, yeah, this is a good one. So you guys know about NFTs. This is a joke from Elon that he just posted on Twitter right here. We'll pull it up. His most recent tweet 9 hours ago. So it's a psychiatrist sitting with a patient saying, "So these NFTs, are they in the room with us right now?" Basically calling NFTs nothing, saying that they don't really exist, that they're just these fake little things that people are paying a ton of money for. So a little poke at NFTs. I'll give it a like, as you guys should do to the stream also if you haven't done already. That would be appreciated. But it looks like Elon is being funny as ever. So that's good to see. And yeah, Elon, he posts interesting stuff. I'm not sure how he finds the time for it. I mean, I'm definitely not on social media as much as Elon, and I definitely don't do as much work as him. And I just can't imagine where he finds the time to do all of it. So it's interesting stuff. Now, let's see. We might miss the market open. We might miss the market open if I take a bathroom break right now. I don't think I can do it in 12 seconds. So I'll hold off. For a couple of minutes of the market open. But man, I downed this coffee real quick. And that's because I did not get very much sleep last night. I was out late. Didn't get back until probably 1. And ideally, on weekdays, I get a lot more sleep than what I got last night. So I'm running on low battery today. So we'll see if the coffee can help out. And Jordan Israel Peterson says, "Rob, did you read that Reddit will be going public by way of an IPO?" I did not hear that. Actually, maybe I did hear that Reddit would be going public. I didn't hear it recently. I heard that they were potentially thinking. Maybe I just heard. I thought I heard this months ago. I thought I heard a rumor of it potentially, but it looks like this is cool. So here we go. We'll pull this up. We'll pull up Reddit jumps on IPO bandwagon with confidential filing. So we're missing the first minutes of the market, which we can miss. All right, so Reddit Inc., whose message boards became the go-to destination for day traders during the year's meme stock frenzy, said on Wednesday it had confidentially filed for an IPO with the U.S. security regulators. All right, so that was a rather short article, but basically it's a confidential filing, and they'll be going public, it looks like. So cool stuff. That's very cool. And Sundial's looking like it's green today. We're up 2%. We're moving up on the first couple bars of the market. That's good to see. Tesla, which I don't know why we're watching too closely, is moving down. The S&P moving down just a touch. DWAC is deciding if it wants to be green or red today. It's down 0.41%. I wouldn't mind it getting a little bit cheaper, selling some more of those put contracts on it. Take a peek at AMC. It looks like we're up 3% on AMC, so it's up the most of all the stocks we're watching, up 4% now. Cool stuff. So AMC is doing pretty darn good. It looks like it paid off. For anyone who was buying into AMC yesterday, you got a pretty good buy on it, or the day before when we were hitting $20. Anyone who was buying in the past couple of days to AMC did pretty darn good. We'll see. I'm going to look for a potential entrance on AMC. Unfortunately for me, it's looking a little bit more bullish now, so I don't know if I'll get a better entrance than what we saw at $20 right there. That might have been the place to buy in. It looks like anyone who bought in there was making some good money, so we'll see what happens with AMC. And real quickly, I want to pull this up. So we've got a story. Illinois announces $45 million in marijuana-funded grants to support community reinvestment. So Illinois officials, we'll pull this up real quick. This is not potentially the most important news for Sundial, but it's something. Illinois officials announced on Wednesday that applications are open for $45 million in new grants funded by marijuana tax revenue that will support programs meant to reinvest in communities most harmed by the drug war. So this is interesting. It's looking like this is potentially an important story because the more stories like this that come out, the more people in the government, the more the politicians will realize that there really is a significant tax opportunity for cannabis, that you really can raise a lot of money with it instead of just having it be illegal and spending money, paying police officers and drug-sniffing dogs to look out for it. Potentially you can make a lot of money instead of spending a lot of money. So it's looking like a pretty good opportunity for the government. We'll see if they end up partaking in it. Hopefully they will in 2022. We could definitely see it, but the more stories like this that come out, the better it will be for cannabis legalization. The better chances we'll have as Illinois is able to just give out grants. I think that's a good thing to do with the money, to do with the revenue. I think giving out grants, giving the money back to the community, if you're going to take it, then so be it. Tax whatever you want, and then at least give it back to the community. If that's what you're going to do with it, then that seems better. There's obviously some bloat in that system because you're taxing people who... There's a little bit of hypocrisy here, right? So you're taxing people who were harmed by the drug war, right? The communities most harmed by the drug war are probably going to be some of the communities buying the most cannabis, paying the most tax, because they were the ones involved with it in the first place. Now that it's legal, they'll still want it. They're not going to stop wanting it now that it's legal. So these communities are probably paying the most tax to the government in order to purchase cannabis. And now the government's just handing it back to them after taking away some to pay the people who are going to be handing it out. I mean, it doesn't make the most sense. It's just a little inefficient in my opinion, but so be it. You're essentially just taking away money and then giving back slightly less because you needed to pay the people who took it away and gave it back. So whatever you want, if you're the government, so be it. They could just help those communities potentially by lowering the tax. So, and Andrew C. says, taxed cannabis costs too much. I'd rather it just stay illegal. That seems like a big risk. That seems like, even if it costs more to be legal, it seems more worth it to have it legal and not have to worry about getting prosecuted or going to jail over it, right? I'd rather it gets legalized. That makes a lot more sense. And then it can be safer. Sometimes people, I've heard, will put like lead dust and stuff on the cannabis because they want it to weigh more and they can sell it for more, and they do that kind of stuff with all kinds of drugs. It's not just cannabis that gets cut with stuff, but it's a worry, right? I'd rather it be safe from a dispensary grown by a reliable distributor. It has information on the package that you can look at and decide if this is something you want or not. You can see the percentages and the tests they've run on it. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, NA Photography, good morning. Good morning. And Seeing Blind 2 says exactly. Money gonna make money off the pot-addicted masses. Yeah, I mean, I think the government's definitely going to make a pretty penny off of it. We've already seen that happen in a lot of states. We've seen the government making some pretty serious money when they start taxing cannabis and legalizing it. So it's definitely a possibility. They're probably going to be making quite a bit at the federal level, especially once it's federally legal. Who knows what kind of excise tax they're going to put on it at the federal level, right? So that might be something that happens in every state on top of the state taxes. You have to consider that they may end up passing a bill with just a federal excise tax. So that could be pretty significant. I think that the bill we were looking at in the past had a 3.75% excise tax, if I'm not mistaken. So fairly significant. I mean, that's just at the federal level, I believe. So it would also have whatever state taxes people want to put on it. So we'll see what happens with cannabis legalization. It could end up being somewhat expensive, but at least it's a move in the right direction. At least people wouldn't be heading to jail. That ends up being far more expensive for the taxpayer, I think, paying for all those people to be in jail and all those guards to watch them, and everything. So and also just taking those people out of the economy. They can't work anymore once they're in jail. So I'd much rather pay a small tax to go to the dispensary than just pay more income tax and increase the national debt, which will pull up the national debt clock. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do that every stream and just see what we're at. We're at 29 trillion, 32 billion, 218 million, 800,000, and $200 or something like that. So there we go. We're already at 900,000 more, and now it's 19 million. 219 million. All right, so the national debt clock has spoken. We have spent a lot of money during this stream. So Andrew S. says, hey, Rob, so at this point, what is the support and resistance numbers for Sundial? Thanks. So actually, with Sundial, it's interesting. It looks like just yesterday, we hit the same level that we bounced off of last time. It's looking like around 52.5 cents, 53 cents, somewhere there. We've seen support a couple of times for Sundial. These past two times, we've bounced off of in the past around there. So around 53 cents probably is where we could see some support for Sundial. And the resistance, we're probably looking at some resistance at most likely every increment of 10 cents, unfortunately, until we get to a buck. A buck is really the ultimate resistance that we're facing on Sundial. We'll see. Hopefully we can get up there pretty darn soon. We're going to need to get up there before February if we want to avoid getting delisted. So we'll see if we can do it, but 53 cents is looking like a decent support for Sundial. That's where I ended up buying some more yesterday, so I did buy some more in a video yesterday. If you guys haven't watched that, feel free. I bought some around probably here, I think, seeing that we were down around the same levels where we had bounced off of before. And asking, has the short level changed lately? I have not taken a peek at it yet today, but we'll pull it up right now. So let's see what the short interest looks like for Sundial. Let's see. So it's not changed dramatically, but we've got a 0.5% increase. It looks like shorts are in it today. Again, they're increasing their interest. We're up to 17.19% of the free float being shorted and 353 million shares. So overall, there are a decent number of shorts in Sundial stock. And that's too bad. I mean, it's too bad for the stock in the meantime. Obviously, they're holding it down. And, they may be playing this game. They may be attempting to just keep increasing the short interest, keep pushing it down long enough for it to get delisted, in which case they would probably make a decent amount of money, right? If Sundial gets delisted and people on the NASDAQ, people can't buy it on the NASDAQ anymore, if they can't buy it on their brokerages like Webull and Robinhood, if it becomes an over-the-counter, that would not be good for Sundial stock. I don't think they're going to let themselves get delisted. I think they're going to do everything in their power to avoid it because they know how horrible that would be for their stock price. But the institutions might be betting on it, right? They might be increasing their short interest, expecting Sundial to get delisted. And then for the only option, basically, if it does get delisted, you'll still have the shares in your account, but you'll only be able to sell Sundial shares. You can't buy more if it's delisted on, say, Robinhood. So that would inevitably lead to more selling pressure than buying pressure, right? Because people on most brokerages would only be able to sell Sundial stock. And then if you were to trade Sundial stock on, say, TD Ameritrade, which is the platform I'm using right here, you would have to pay a commission to trade it. So that's interesting to see. Maybe that's what shorts are up to. Hopefully not. Hopefully they can't do it. I don't expect they'll be able to, but you never know. You always gotta... Yeah, and well, wouldn't they reverse split? Yeah, that's what I think. I think they would reverse split before they let themselves get delisted. But I don't even think they want to do that. I think they just want to get up to $1. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in 2022 if we can start getting some real bullish pressure for these cannabis stocks. So AMC hitting up $25, potentially going to be using it as a support. We're going to see if that can happen. It's looking... It's not ideal that we're hitting 25. I mean, it had to happen at some point. In fact, it's probably... yeah, it had to happen at some point, it looks like. So it's probably good that we're doing it earlier rather than later. Obviously, they're going to want to test the resistance and support levels on it. So we'll see what happens with 25. If we move down below it, that wouldn't be ideal. You know, that might present a better buying opportunity. Then in the future, we might end up getting back to $20 again. We'll see. We'll see. I know Trey's Trades was talking about getting to $19 or below. So he was saying we might get to 19 or below. I'll keep an eye out for it. I'll keep an eye out for that. Maybe we will. And let me actually take a peek at the AMC options. That might be a good way to enter. So, potentially it's a way to enter. You might be able to make some money with the options. Overall, I think DWAC, which we can take a peek at the options, see how they've gone, or we can take a peek at the DWAC options here. We can see if they've gotten any more expensive or not. So, it's looking like those... Oh, sorry, the $50 options. Okay, yeah. So the $50 options you could still probably sell for quite a bit. And man, I might have to do it. I might have to sell more of them. It's just too good of a deal because essentially selling these DWAC options, if you're looking at the $50 strike price for the puts, if you sell one for $34, you're putting up $16 of collateral. So you only have to put up, well, we'll talk about the actual numbers. Since each options contract is multiplied by 100 shares, you're putting up $1,600 of collateral, and you stand to make $3,400, so more than double the $1,600. And all DWAC has to do to make that is nothing. It doesn't have to move at all for you to make that over the next year. In fact, if it goes up quite a bit in the short term even, you could then buy back those contracts for probably significantly less, as we'd be much less likely to expire below. You could buy back those options contracts and make a pretty penny. You wouldn't have to wait the whole year to do it. So you could potentially double your money at some point earlier than that. If we move up big, you could maybe get a 50% decrease in the price of those options contracts and just walk away with that profit in a couple of months. If DWAC does good in the short term, it just seems like a good deal. Sure seems like a good deal to me. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I might have to sell some more of those contracts. They just look too promising to me. They really do look very promising. I'll offer up at least a sale of the contract, and we'll see if anyone takes it, right? Because there is a pretty big spread. In fact, if you're looking at the spread on the DWAC contracts, you can see the 50s. The bid is $32.40 and the ask is $36.50. So maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to get another sale of $34.50, which is what I got yesterday. We'll see if I can do it. That'll be another $1,500 of collateral, so... So here we go. I'm just going to quickly enter that order, and we'll see if it executes. It might not. We'll see if we can get it. So 34.5. Collateral, All right, that looks good to me. You're agreeing to buy 100 shares of DWAC for $50 each before or on January 20th of 2023. All right, so there we go. I'll just put another sell order in, and we'll see if it executes. I sure hope it does, because that's just, it's an awesome deal, I think. That's the potential to 2x your money, because you're only putting up $1,500, and the risk of losing, you could lose all of it, but to lose all of it, DWAC would have to go to zero. It just, I don't know, it makes a lot of sense to me to enter that trade, at least from my perspective, right? Obviously, there's risk with options. You could lose quite a bit. So you never know what's going to happen with it. Obviously, you guys should be careful. I'm not telling you guys to take that trade. That's just something that I'm looking into. And Sundial's looking like it's doing pretty darn good. We're up to almost 58 cents with Sundial. So this is a good time. I'll be right back, guys. Just sit tight real quick, and I will return. Okay, I am back, and it looks like Sundial is doing pretty darn good. I'm happy to see it. Sundial's up to above 58 cents per share. DWAC is starting to recover a little bit. It looks like we didn't get down too far on it. We were still pretty darn stagnant with it. AMC bouncing off of 25. That's awesome. And the S&P moving up as well. So that's most likely why all of these stocks are turning green. The overall markets are turning green. Sundial is benefiting the most from this, though. They're getting pretty darn close to 60 cents per share. They got there earlier in the pre-market, just about. So we'll see if we can do it during the trading day. I think that Sundial probably was dramatically oversold yesterday, which is why I bought some more shares around 53 cents. So we'll see what happens with it. If we can turn this into a very, very green day for Sundial, that would be nice. There we go. So the coffee has been finished. Nice. Hopefully that will give me some energy. I did not get too much sleep last night, so. And Sundial on the way to 59 cents per share. That's great. That's good to see. So we're doing pretty good with Sundial. And let's see what we got. If we've got any interesting stocks on StockTwit's trending or most active. It's just AMC, SPY, and Bitcoin. Surprisingly enough, Bitcoin is one of the top trenders on StockTwits. Usually doesn't happen. It's been a while since I've seen Bitcoin up here. Typically, it's some smaller crypto that surged, 1 or 200 or 300%. And typically, you only see cryptos on here over the weekend. At least that's what I've noticed. Unless it's a massive crypto surge like Shiba Inu coin or something like that. But it's strange to see Bitcoin as one of the most discussed stocks on StockTwits. In fact, I'm going to have to pull this up and see what the heck people are saying about it. Nothing crazy. Just people posting a bunch of Bitcoin memes. I guess people are just posting a lot about Bitcoin. Who knows? Overall, it's looking like it's doing pretty good, but it doesn't look like there's any indication of why. I mean, potentially, it's people worried about inflation buying into Bitcoin, and that would make sense. But it's not like we're hitting new all-time highs. It's not a crazy surge, and in fact, Ethereum is up more. So Ethereum is up about 7.5%, 5% more than Bitcoin, which is up 2.5%. So I feel like people should be talking a little bit more about Ethereum instead of Bitcoin, but we are actually getting pretty darn close to the highs. We're about $700 away on Ethereum. Not as close as we could be, but we're not too far off. It's still a pretty solid uptrend over the past year that we've seen with Ethereum. We've seen some spikes up and down. Let's see what Bitcoin's looking like. If we've got something similar, it's a kind of solid uptrend. It's pretty good, but it's a bit less bullish than Ethereum. Ethereum was almost just a straight line with a little bump when Bitcoin was peaking out. But Bitcoin, it seems like we've had a couple of peaks, and it just looks like a more serious decline in price that we've seen lately. It really doesn't seem too bullish for us. We'll see. We'll see what happens, though. I'm more bullish on Ethereum, I think, than Bitcoin. But really, both of them could be moving up, especially if people begin treating them more so as a hedge against inflation. I think that's what will really help them over the course of 2022. If we start seeing big inflation, I mean, it certainly could benefit the cryptos. I could see it benefiting them a lot just because people would basically turn them into these self-fulfilling prophecies that move up alongside inflation. So, basically, the only thing you need to be an inflation hedge is be perceived as an inflation hedge, and then people are going to put money into you when they're worried about inflation, and that'll cause your price to go up. So Bitcoin certainly could do it. If people make it a digital gold and really start accepting it, it's possible. It's possible that people could start moving the price up significantly. I don't see why not. Although gold itself is doing pretty good today. Gold is just on a pretty steady uptrend ever since around 2 o'clock yesterday. They've been doing pretty darn good. They saw some big sells and then some big buys. And we've just been moving up in a straight line, so I'm happy to see it. We've done better than the S&P today, so we're up more over the after hours and pre-market than the S&P. And in fact, the S&P has been moving down during the trading day for the most part. Ever since the market opened, we've been moving down with the S&P, and gold has done the exact opposite. Gold has been moving up. So exciting stuff to see. I think that as Powell admits that inflation is a bit of a bigger issue than he was initially expecting, we're going to keep seeing good things from gold, most likely, right? For some reason, people just couldn't wrap their heads around the idea that gold was a good thing to buy earlier in the year. They couldn't wrap their heads around seeing these big inflation numbers and buying gold. Now maybe we're going to start seeing that happen. Who knows? If 2022, it could be a really good year for gold. So let's see. We've got. Should I beg for likes, guys, or should y'all just hit the like button? I don't know. We've got 62. We'll see. I mean, maybe we've got some new people in here who haven't had the chance yet. But for those of you who are new, because the last time we covered this, it was a bit ago. People probably weren't all in here, but basically the Fed decision yesterday, they will aggressively dial back the bond buying. So they're expecting only 2 more Fed meetings before the bond buying ends. So they're ending the tapering, and they see 3 rate hikes coming next year, probably of 0.25 points each. So not the most dramatic rate hikes, but that's what they're looking at. They're looking at rate hikes coming, 3 rate hikes coming 2022, with 2 in the following year and 2 more in 2024. So they're hoping to raise rates quite a bit. And I don't know what video you're talking about, Kitchener. I've not been reading the chat too often. I don't know who the spammer is, but I've not been paying too much attention to it. So inflation was hot. The Fed was worried about it. That's basically the whole gist of the meeting yesterday, right? They're going to end their bond buying, and we're looking at some more rate hikes coming next year. But interesting chart that Zach shared yesterday with me. He shared this chart, and these were actually charts shared by the Fed. At least this one was. The Fed was sharing this during their presentation. Powell was talking about the 2021 inflation numbers, and this green line right here, the actual inflation numbers are on the chart, except for some reason the Fed decided not to include those inflation numbers going into 2021, right? They didn't want to show what the chart looked like with the 2021 inflation numbers included. They decided to just have the 2020 inflation numbers. And there's potentially reason why this is, as this article points out, because potentially the inflation numbers look way too scary for investors if they actually ended up having this visual put in front of them. Not this visual, right? This is the very appealing visual where Powell can talk about inflation and say they're going to deal with it. But if they actually had the 2021 inflation data showing on the chart would look a little bit more like this, showing, you can see this green extension of the chart showing the 2021 inflation numbers, showing that it goes actually past the highest X coordinate on the chart. It goes past 6. We're actually higher than what the chart even shows. We're into the key of the chart right here. So it's understandable why Powell didn't want to show this at the Fed meeting, right? He didn't want to show this dramatic upshoot of inflation because their projections are these bars for the next couple of years, right? So they're projecting that inflation will move down massively in 2022 and 2023, 2024, and beyond. So it's interesting to see. I mean, it's looking like this probably won't be the case. I wouldn't expect to see a massive downshoot in inflation. I would probably think that we would see maybe a continuation of this. Maybe inflation will keep rising. Maybe it'll stay at this level for a while. We'll see. We don't know for sure, but it seems more likely. And, it's very understandable why the Fed did not include this graphic in their presentation, and they chose to include this very tame graphic, where inflation looks like it's very low and it's no big deal. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the inflation. And Zach says, Leslie, email Rob so we can stop hijacking his chat. If you guys want, yeah, I mean, if Silver and Kitchener Leslie can email me, I'll send it to Zach whenever. Whenever I get it. But yeah, no, I've not been keeping up with the chat all that much, unfortunately. I haven't been looking at it. Sorry, guys. I know Kitchener wants me to interact with it more. He's not chatting with us. And you guys are misbehaving because of it. Understandable. It looks like, though, AMC is actually taking a dip below 25. We're going to see if this maintains itself. Hopefully not. Hopefully it doesn't. But if it does, then it would only be a better buying opportunity from the look of it. And SPY is unfortunately trending down as well. So maybe it's coming off of this SPY sell-off that we're seeing. DWAC is still pretty steady. It's not really doing all that much. And Sundial is starting to conform. It's starting to see a little bit of red, even though it's... show Silver how to find the email? All right, here we go. So the email, if anybody wishes, can go to my channel right here. You go to the home page of the channel, and you then click the About button. And you can then, for business inquiries right here, or whatever you wish, just click View Email Address, and you can then email me just anything from any email, and I'll send it to Zach. Whoever wants Zach's email, basically, just view mine and send me something, and I'll send Zach a little email. I'll forward it or whatever it is, and then you guys will all have each other's emails. So. And Alex Chen asks, what is the sell price on Sundial? You mean, what's the goal? What are we trying to get Sundial to? I mean, there's a couple of things. One, I think it's potentially a good long-term hold into the far-out future. I think that as cannabis becomes legal, Sundial could be expanding quite a bit. So I would expect that Sundial would do pretty good. From the long-term perspective, I think they do pretty good. But we will certainly, after cannabis legalization occurs, see a peak in Sundial's price off of the hype, and it's tough to say exactly where that will be. My guess is we'll have a pretty easy time of getting it to $4.20. I'm assuming that as soon as cannabis legalization occurs, there will be a lot of people on Reddit talking about it, hyping it up, trying to push it up. And I don't think that'll be tough to do. I think there'll be a lot of buyers of Sundial stock, not just from Reddit, but the Reddit crowd will certainly help. And they'll be calling for it to go to 420 probably. That's what they did in the past when it got up there. So if you look at the past, I think we can pull out past 360 days. Last time Sundial rallied, it ended up getting above 420. It got up to $4.87. So I think we could get there again pretty easily, right? That wasn't even on legalization news. So if we did get legalization, I could see Sundial going pretty darn high, at least to 420, maybe to $5 or $6. We'll see what it's looking like at that point, right? If they've done their share buybacks, if they've decreased the float, if their business is looking a lot more steady with the Alcana merger, we'll see what we end up getting with Sundial stock. They could do pretty darn good. I wouldn't count them out of the race. I think that they're probably going to be one of the better performing cannabis stocks. They've already done pretty darn good even over the past year. They're up still over the past year from 42 cents to 57 cents. You know, a lot of stocks, some stocks are down, some of the smaller market cap stocks like this. So I would not count Sundial out of the race. They're doing pretty good. And DWAC is getting some volume and moving up. So that's good to see. Good to see. And AMC, unfortunately, AMC is continuing to decline. So it is moving down. But DWAC, it's looking like we'll probably make highs of day above $54. If we just hit above $54, we can do it. We're getting pretty big volume coming in, and we've seen this kind of thing before with DWAC. We get big volume coming in, and it looks like, unfortunately, my order to sell more. And Rob Almazy, only silver email, please. Oh, you DM'd me on Instagram. Okay, well, let's see. Let's see if I can find that. I won't share it on the screen. Don't worry about it. But let's see. Do I have a DM on Instagram? Oh, I have requests. Ah, I see. I have a lot of messages on Instagram. I'm not sure who it is, so I'll look at it later. I'll see if I can figure that out later. I don't know who Winthrop Valentine is, unfortunately. The Winthrop Valentine pick, I don't know who that is. I'm sorry about that. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know who Winthrop Valentine is. Unfortunately. But if you messaged me in the past couple of days, maybe 20 hours ago, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one. Didn't see anything, but let's see. So Mark says, I'm risking everything I got on DWAC Trump. And I can't read the rest, I don't think. I don't think YouTube would like it if I read the rest of the message. But DWAC looks like a pretty good bet. To me, at least, right? Now, obviously, I like to take more risk-off positions. So that's why I ended up selling an options contract on it. And I'm going to try to sell more. I mean, if it keeps moving up, then it doesn't look like I'll get the chance. But if we can just get it down a little, I have the sell order in. It just needs to execute. It looks like, you can actually see my order right here. If you look at the chart, you can see this 34.50 for the ask. That's my order. So my order is actually making the market on this. I am lowering the price of these put options by putting in a cheaper put. And, before this, it was like 36 something bucks. So this $34.50 put is actually my option contract that I am offering to sell to anyone who wants to buy it. So we're only $2 away from the bid. It's really not that far. We could potentially see someone taking it up. So we'll see. If anyone wants to buy up this put contract, I wouldn't recommend it. I think it's probably going to be a profitable position for me selling it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. If we move down a little bit more, if we hit $50 again, then I bet the premiums would move up on that, and we'd end up getting the order to execute. So Yeah, Jordan, I do have to be careful about it. I do have to be careful about it. You never know what YouTube's gonna do, man. I like the YouTube platform and all that. It's a very handy, modern interface to use for all this stuff. It's good at recommending videos that I enjoy and all that. But um, I've heard about channels that don't do too good when they say stuff that isn't well liked. So I'm not trying to say anything out there that YouTube isn't a big fan of. Unfortunately, that's how it has to be. If I ever had Rumble exclusive videos, maybe, but probably not. I don't know if there's too much of a reason to do Rumble exclusive videos. Not too many people end up watching me on Rumble. So if you guys do want to follow me on Rumble, though, feel free. I mean, I've got my Rumble right here. It's Rob Almazy. So if you guys haven't followed me on Rumble, feel free. We've got Rob Almazy on Rumble. Basically, just all the videos that I post here get posted to Rumble as well. So feel free to follow me there if you guys are interested in it. And Zach says, looks like metals finally got the inflation news. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They've been just moving up all day. So that's good to see. I'm excited for it. We're going to see how much more we can get throughout the course of the rest of the year. I mean, maybe we can even turn some of those red positions into green ones if we really see an upshoot, which it looks like, if we continue at this pace, then we'd be going pretty darn high by the end of the year. But we'll see. I mean, the metals have been pretty volatile, I have to say. A lot of the time, they are just shooting up dramatically over short periods of time. So we did see a big increase in volume in gold yesterday. We'll see if we can continue that trend today. It's not looking too likely. Maybe, actually. Maybe we will. We've already got... It's only been 37 minutes of market open. We've already got 2.5 million shares traded on gold. So we'll see if we can get that. Now, Saif asks, Rob, what about Sundial? Sundial is looking pretty good, right? We ended up moving up big yesterday. So good news on that front. We're having pretty significant volume today. A lot of people potentially buying in. I ended up buying some shares yesterday around 53 cents. So that's in the green right now. As for whether or not we've hit a bottom on Sundial, we did hit a double bottom at 53 cents. So potentially we'll be seeing some more Sundial buyers coming in over the next couple of days. Maybe we'll end the year in a green way. It wouldn't be out of the question. It would be nice even if we formed a nice little W shape with Sundial right here. And that I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. Just see some green towards the end of the year, maybe get us up towards 80 cents. It's obviously just a potential situation that we could be seeing. It's not a guarantee that we'll continue moving up. Obviously, there are, and they'll pull up the shorts in Sundial. There are more shorts in Sundial. There are a whole lot of shorts in Sundial. And they want Sundial to end the year below $1. They want it to end below $1 in February as well. They do not want Sundial to be moving up above $1 because if they can keep it down below that, $1, then it will get delisted in February unless they do a reverse share split. And potentially, they could do some share buybacks themselves, but that would only help to raise their stock price. That would only help to get them above $1. So it's tough to say. It's tough to say what's going to happen with Sundial. There are definitely a lot of people. And who is this? Who is this guy with a bunch of symbols for his name in the chat? I'm not sure who this is. They keep sending kind of spammy messages. I don't know. One more and I'll put him in timeout. How about that? Looks like a little spammy thing, but we'll see what happens. Corporate Universe Inc. up 34%. Very cool. And Max Pierce said it right. He said 98 people in the chat and not 98 likes. Let's hype Rob up. Let's see if we can get up. We've got 78 likes at the moment. Let's see if we can get to 80 likes. Actually, we have 80 viewers in the stream, I think. So we'll see. We got 79 at the moment. Who wants to be the one to hit that like button and move us up to 80? We'll see if we can do it. An Ambition 2020 Field Day. Like, inputted. Have a great day. All right, Ambition. Glad to see you here. Thanks for the like. Have a good one in the field. It's good to get out there every now and then, stretch your legs. It's not healthy for me sitting at this computer. That's why we're doing hour-and-a-half streams nowadays. We used to do the 3-hour ones, and that was too much just sitting straight. It was too much. Now we do the hour and a half streams. I like those a lot more. So that's a lot better, I think. And it looks like, we did pretty darn good, actually. We got up to 94 likes, so we're only 6 away from 100. Maybe we could get there. We got up way higher than I was thinking. So Seem Blind liked the video. Slim Daddy Bim got us up to 80, and Abstract is in the chat. Welcome, Abstract. It's looking like a good day for cryptos. Cryptos are up. If you haven't heard the news that Powell said yesterday, he's been talking about the Fed dialing back bond buying and seeing 3 rate hikes in interest rates next year. So it would seemingly be bad for cryptos to see less money being printed from the bond buying and more interest being given on money in savings accounts. So it would seemingly be bad for cryptos. But cryptos are actually responding pretty favorably to this. You wouldn't think it, but Bitcoin is up 2.5% on the news, up above 48,000 again. Ethereum doing incredibly well, up 8%, above 4,000 again. Binance Coin up 5%. Pretty much every coin is in the green except the ones that are pegged at $1. Solana up 16%, Cardano up 6%, Terra Luna up 20%, Dogecoin up 3%, Shiba Inu up 3%. Everything's green today in the crypto space. Yeah, pretty much every coin is green except for the ones pegged to $1. Those just have barely any, they barely change at all. So I'm scrolling and it's looking like, the top 70, every single crypto is green. There's not one in the top 100 that isn't one of those ones that's tethered to $1 that's not green. So every crypto basically is green. Incredible stuff. Crypto's doing really well. So anyone holding a lot of cryptos, good call on that. And Max Pierce asks, Rob, do you have any Twitch at all? I don't have a Twitch, unfortunately. I could be streaming this to Rumble too. I think there's a way. I think Matt Kors does it. But I don't have a Twitch or a Rumble stream. So no, I'm not on either. I don't know how many views I would get on Twitch. We'll see. I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll look into it. I should do that, really. I should. No reason not to if we're streaming anyways. What I'd also like is what Matt Kors does, where he has like a little music track that he plays while he's setting up his stream. See, that would be the issue for me if I was just doing the multiple streams. He typically takes a couple of minutes. He's just looking around the camera on one of the streams that he does while he sets up the other ones. So he just has a little nice soundtrack playing. It seems very pleasant, but we'll see. Maybe I can figure something out and get something nice playing. It looks like he has custom stuff that plays specifically, someone made it and tailored it to his channel, talking about going to the moon and all that kind of stuff. So it's actually a kind of nice song. I like it, but we'll see what we can get. We're probably not big enough for that. And asks if I'm a fan of Tom MacDonald music. I don't know what Tom MacDonald is. Can't say I've ever heard of Tom MacDonald. And Abstract says, I'll make you a beat. That would be cool, Abstract. That would be very cool. I would love a beat. I'm not sure what kind of beat, what the vibe of the channel is, but a beat would be cool. Maybe at 10K we'll work on doing something like that. Or anytime, really. If you ever want to send me a beat, man, I'll probably play it. If you ever just send me a beat, I've got an email in my About section. If you ever send me a beat, I'll probably play that, as long as there's no, anything that YouTube wouldn't like in it, any kind of profanity or that kind of stuff. I don't know if I could play that. I think they typically ask if there's any inappropriate content in the videos. So as long as there's nothing in it, if you want to make me a beat, that would be much appreciated, man. I would definitely play that. That sounds cool. And Silver says 10K new format, go live when big news drops. Potentially, maybe. Might have to do it. Yeah, end of day, Bell Summer. We might have to. Yeah, I mean, that sounds... I do certainly enjoy these live streams. The only downside is that... what was the downside? There was a reason not to do it. There was a reason why I haven't done it yet. I'm forgetting exactly what it was, but there was a reason. And Abstract says, nothing I make is copyright or inappropriate. Then that sounds awesome, man. I'd love a beat. That would be cool. And Max Pierce says Tom McDonald is a conservative rap artist, about the only one who is pro-America. I'd suggest you take a listen. I'll take a peek at it. I'll take a peek. And potentially Silver, whenever we can. Yeah. There was a down. I forget what the downside was. There was a reason I hadn't done it yet. I just forget what it was. There was a reason I didn't do it, though. But, yeah, maybe we will. We'll see. We'll see if we do that. It's nice. I think it's nice having these streams at a specified time. So maybe the end of day stream would work, but otherwise, people might just not know when to expect them. People know at this point. Hey, 9 o'clock, you log on, you hit the stream, and you're in here, and then it's a good time. And if we did do an end of day one every day, then people would realize that too. The midday ones, people might not be too aware of, because I think after a certain point, YouTube stops sending out notifications if there's if too many notifications have been sent out. I think it only sends out 3 a day or something like that. It might not send out notifications, and nobody would know if I was just to stream in the middle of the day. So potentially we'll start doing it that way. And Abstract says he's always an hour late. I've noticed, but it gives us a chance to peek at cryptos. It gives us a chance to peek at cryptos in the middle of the stream, so that's good. And yeah, I will point out, guys, we're at 99 likes. We just got to 100. Nice, guys, awesome. Thank you guys very much. And Silver says I like the open, the close, and big news videos. Yeah, I think that's a good format. I think that allows enough notifications to get out, because if we were, I guess the streams would be for big news as well. So maybe we'll look into it. We'll see. I think the worry was, if I just streamed in the middle of the day, nobody might be around to actually watch the stream. So potentially we'll start doing it. And gold is up 1%. It's just been a steady climb with gold. Nothing crazy, but just a steady move upwards. So I'm glad to see it. We'll take a peek at AMC real quick. It looks like it's struggling with 25. At least it's gotten back up there. It hasn't bounced off of 25 yet. It did bounce off of 25. It hasn't gotten back up above yet. But at least it didn't just keep moving down like we were seeing it potentially do earlier when it first moved through 25. We saw a bunch of big red bars. So hopefully it doesn't move too much further down. And we'll zoom in on some of these charts. We've been zoomed out for a while. But there we go. So Sundial, it looks like, is recovering a little bit. That's good to see. We're getting a little recovery on Sundial. A nice bounce off of 57 moving up. All right. DWAC is potential. We're not that far off from highs of day. We only need to get 60 cents higher to be at highs of day for DWAC. And Abstract asks, is Lucid at $50 yet? I don't think so. So we'll take a peek at LCID. Not yet. It hit 42.50. But we're not quite to $50 yet. We're getting there. We're not below 40 at the very least. So we are on the uptrend, though. If you look over the past about 5 days, we've been slowly but surely moving up. So don't mind the volatility. The trend is moving to the upside. It looks pretty good for Lucid. We did get back up above 40. I could see us even bouncing off 40 potentially. We're only at 41.82, so we'd only have to move down about $1 to do it, $1.80. And then we could see a little bounce upwards off of 40. That could propel us somewhere. We'll see. It's looking good for Lucid, though. I'm liking the look of Lucid. Travis Brusso says, test. He's testing out. He's testing out something. I don't know what he's testing out, but it's something. And Abstract is trying to swing trade Lucid. Yeah, I did that a couple of times myself. I did that a couple of times on my public brokerage account. If you guys haven't gotten public yet, then feel free, in the description of the video. There are a bunch, actually, of brokerage accounts that you guys can get. One of them is public brokerage, and I don't use it all that often because I didn't actually put any money in it. All the money that I have in there is from referrals of people to that brokerage. But basically, it shows you my trades. If you choose to follow me, it shows you the trades that I take on there. Currently, I'm just in a Sundial trade right now, so nothing much to look at. But I've taken some Tesla trades, some Lucid trades, I think right now I'm in Sundial and the S&P. So overall, it's an interesting one. If you guys want to watch some trades, I mean, you get free money for opening up the account. You get up to $70 worth of free stock, and you get to choose which stock it is. If it's Tesla, or I think you can do the S&P, you can do Beyond Meat, stuff like that. Hot companies like maybe Apple too. You can do that kind of stuff if you're interested in getting a free stock. Down in the description. And Abstract says Public was his first brokerage, and then Webull, yeah, and Webull too. If you guys want a Webull account, I'll have to show you guys. Let me pull up the stream real quick. Webull account. Here we go. We've got the stream. And okay, all right. So this is literally the stream that we've got. And watch this, guys. I have the stream that we're currently watching. You can see all of your chats right here, too. I will go ahead and hit the like button for myself. Now, in the description of the stream, it says, want to support me? Use these referral links, and we both get free stocks. You can get up to $2,300 with Webull by opening an account with this link. You just get, it's not up to $50 that you get with M1 Finance. If you open up an account with M1 Finance, you just get $50. And you have to make an initial deposit, I think, of $100 to do it. But M1 Finance is a good one. You get up to $70 with Public, and that's a cool one because you get to choose the stock. And then if you wish to follow me on Public, you may. And you can get up to $500 with Robinhood right here. So feel free. Feel free to do it. That's in this stream's description if you wish to get free stuff. So cool stuff to see. And Abstract likes the ease of both Public and Webull. I do too. They're both easy. And Jordan Israel Peterson just gave like and follow on Instagram. Follow back, but don't unfollow. All right, I'll look for you on Instagram. It's tough to say who you are, but I'll give you a peek if you have the same name. And Kevin Bailey, when Naked merger coming? I think that was December 21st. I believe it was December 21st. And people were saying in the comment section of the other video, there were some articles that I had pulled up in that video discussing the way the share counts are going to work. And for some reason, the articles were saying that Naked Stock was going to be, you were going to get 7 shares for every 3 shares you have. And then some people in the comments said that those articles were incorrect, that in fact you were going to get 1 share for every 15 shares you have. So it shouldn't affect the amount of capital that you have, right? It should multiply the price by the shares. So you should just have less shares and it should be more expensive stock. And that would make a lot more sense, in my opinion. So my expectation is probably that if you guys watch those videos, disregard some of those articles. Disregard those. But I would expect to get 1 share for every 15 and to have the price of the NAKD shares, which I'll pull up right here, multiplied by 15. So that's what I would expect to see when this company ends up becoming Centro Automotive. So we'll see. That should be happening before the end of 2021. We should be seeing that in a little bit later this year, in just a couple of days, probably before Christmas. I think it should be happening on the 21st when that vote goes through, maybe the day after. We'll see. But it's expected for before December 31st, whenever the end of the year is. They said it should happen sometime late in 2021. So we'll see. And CR News asks about Peloton. So this is a really interesting one. This is a hot stock, and it's an exercise fitness equipment machine that also sells online virtually connected workout equipment, and you can subscribe to their service and get these workout programs. So it's interesting. It's an interesting one. It's potentially it was overvalued probably during the pandemic because people were staying home. It got really hyped up, and a lot of people thought that this was a big deal, and it was during the pandemic. It was doing very well. But it stopped doing very well because people started being able to go back out and into the gyms and whatnot and re-enter society. They weren't buying as many machines. You can see they were pretty darn profitable during the pandemic. They were doing pretty good. But it was potentially overhyped, and now they're losing money once again. So they were losing money before the pandemic. They started making during the pandemic. and now they're losing money. And Fluxforce says, hey Rob, I just DM'd you on Insta a link to Beat of Mine made all royalty free and copyright free. Hit me back if you want a DL link. For sure, guys. I will definitely look at this. We could have a couple of songs. It could be yours, and we could play different songs different days. I'd be fine with that. So I'll take a peek at it, Fluxforce. Thank you very much. And Kitchener Leslie asks, what is PHUN? Peloton. It's Peloton. It's basically a workout equipment. I'll pull up their site real quick. Peloton. So, here we go. Here's their site. Basically, it's almost a bad idea for a business. It made a lot of sense during the pandemic, but here's what it is. You buy the Peloton bike. Let's pull this up. So you buy the Peloton bike. Where was that tab? So yeah, you buy the bike. It's $1,400 or $1,500 basically, and then you pay a monthly subscription fee of $59 a month, so that they show you the workout videos to use on the bike. It's not the best business model because anyone could essentially make a potentially more reasonable business, just not charging you $59 a month to use their thing. You could just buy a bike and then have a screen on it that connects to YouTube, and watch a YouTube video for free on it. So it's not the best business model in my opinion. It doesn't make the most sense for people to actually sign up for. It could be very profitable. If they end up getting people to sign up for it, then good for them. But it's looking like as the pandemic faded away and people were able to go out more and more, it became less popular. So, and Abstract says for $59 a month you can get a gym membership and possibly a trainer. That's also the thing. It doesn't make sense to be paying $59 a month to use this bike that you already paid $1,500 for. That's just in your house. So yeah, it doesn't make the most sense in my opinion. And Slim Daddy Bim says, stay away from PHUN. It was a fad stock. Yeah, I think a little bit. It's probably not the best over the long term. And Needs an Agent says, it's a great workout. Not sure if it will be a moneymaker for shareholders. They do live classes and you can compete with other people. Yeah, so there is some upside to it. You can compete with the Peloton community. You could potentially be doing the same thing with YouTube. If someone decided to just do a YouTube workout class and everybody logs into the live stream, say at 3 o'clock, and that's when the workout class starts, you could just stream it to YouTube and a bunch of people could all be biking together. So, that's another thing about it. It's an interesting idea, but I'm not sure if there's the most utility in it. I don't know if it really makes sense to be paying $60 a month for that, right? The YouTube class, someone might charge, maybe they make it a members-only stream and charge $5 a month for it. And then you can have thousands of people in there. So Max Pierce, Rob, you said NAKD will 15x, so the stock will go up from 50 cents around $7 to $8 a stock. That's what I believe will happen. I haven't actually confirmed it myself by looking at I think it's the 6K I need to look into. But I will look into that, and I believe that, yeah, it'll 15x. You'll have 15 times fewer shares. So it should be, if it's trading for $5 right now, then it should be trading for $7.50 when it ends up doing the merger, and you get 15 times fewer shares. It's 15 times the price. So it makes it a bit of a more legitimate stock almost. I think that eventually they'll probably have to change the NAKD symbol too to something more Centro-based. It just would make a lot more sense, I think. But we'll see what they end up doing with it. Maybe they'll do it. I think it makes more sense when companies have symbols that are related to their name. But they'll be Centro. They'll be an EV company at that point, and they'll have a more authentic stock price. So Kitchener Leslie says, you should do a class, Rob. Your fingers will get stronger. Maybe we'll do Rob Almazy Fitness. Maybe we'll do a fitness class. Probably not. My cousin and I are thinking of doing Rob Almazy Gaming, though. We're thinking of streaming some 7 Days to Die, if you guys have ever heard of that. We might just stream it just for fun, not on this channel. We might just make another channel, but we might stream some gaming videos just for fun, and if anyone wants to watch them, they can, but just as a fun thing. Just because we were thinking of playing a game together pretty soon, so we'll see if something happens with it. But Who knows? But guys, it is 10:30, so that's just about the end of the stream. It's looking, I will show the charts real quick once again, but it's looking like we're seeing a decent day for the markets. It looks like they were a little red in the beginning. You see the S&P coming back right here. DWAC moving up, making highs of day. And Sundial not falling. We're green on Sundial, up 2.7%. So we're doing pretty good overall in the markets. And Max Pierce says, there you go. That will be a Twitch game to play for sure. Yeah, maybe we'll do a Twitch stream too. We'll see. But we're doing pretty good in the markets. I'm pretty happy with the way the day has been going so far. And that is the stream for today. So 10:30, that's when we're calling it. I'm sorry, Kitchener. I know I'm a quitter, but we're ending it for today. So other than that, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is tomorrow Friday? I think today is Thursday. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's Thursday today. Jeez, the week goes by fast. So tomorrow's Friday. So I'll see you Friday. Have a good one, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.